Hello, and welcome back to our weekly astrology podcast where we light our candles, grab our blankets, get cozy, and talk all things cosmos. I am your host, astrologer, and coach, Sarah Posh, and this week our episode is for the stunning Libra Full Moon, which means that we're getting into the rising sign horoscopes for all 12 signs. Make sure to check out your rising sign. That's the top priority because it's the most house specific. And you can also listen to your moon sign or your sun sign if it feels inspired, and you might just be delighted. And not only is our Libra full moon going to be stunning, gorgeous, Venus is dignified, we love, it's also going to be one of the most rare astrology transits of the year with an outer planet aspect happening between Saturn and Pluto. And this aspect, it has not happened since 2013, and it won't happen until 2047 when Pluto is out of Aquarius. So make sure before you go to your rising sign horoscope, you listen to the astrology transit overview and you get the DL on the Saturn-Pluto synergy that's taking place this week only until 2047. Also, I just want to say hi, thank you for being here. How are we doing? Drop your rising sign below and tell me, are you feeling the turn of the tide when it comes to this Pisces new moon lunar cycle? Babe, I am feeling it. I am finally feeling settled. I am finally feeling like I'm calling back the energy that has been so depleted and exhausted from just having to handle all the shit that's been happening. It's like I can slowly start to feel the return of creativity and inspiration. And it's so goddamn exciting. And this Libra full moon, I am just like remembering the Libra new moon that happened in October of 2025. And it was right after Mercury left that retrograde shadow with that fucking deep shadow work, deep dive of the Mercury retrograde in Scorpio and the Scorpio lunar cycle. That Libra new moon and the podcast that I did at that time, it was all about finally feeling like we were coming out of the density of the eclipses opposing Saturn. And this is the full moon to that lunation. So there's something really beautiful that we're celebrating. And there's this synchronicity. There's this repetition, shall we say, of this turning of the tide, of coming out of the fog, coming out of the density, except for now it's a full moon. And with Saturn and Neptune in Aries, this full moon is shining a bright light, showing us with a little bit more clarity what this phase one of the Saturn and Aries lesson plan is all about. And also how we need to make sure we're acknowledging and integrating all of the Aries stuff and the Aries house topics into the Libra part of our lives. So there's a celebration and there's a little bit of a reality check, a clarity check, but it feels really encouraging. It feels really motivating. And it also feels like it's helping us come into greater harmony with this next level of authenticity, honest living, and maturity that Saturn and Aries is all about. So tell me, where are you? What is your rising sign? How are you feeling? Are you starting to get a little sneak preview or maybe a reality check? It's in your face about what the Saturn and Aries lesson plan is for you or where it's starting. What is phase one? And how are you feeling since that Pisces new moon? Drop in the comments below. And also, if you like any of this content, please hit that like button. And also, if you hit subscribe, it helps the channel grow. It helps support the creation and the ongoing sustainability of this content, of this community, of this channel. So with that, let's go ahead. We're ready. We're going to start with the overall collective transits and overview before going into each rising sign horoscope. Starting with Friday, March 27th, we've got the moon entering into Leo. And when this moon is entering into Leo, it is going to activate this fire trine to the Sun, Saturn, Neptune, and Aries. And there's also going to be a pull, a little tug of war from Pluto and Aquarius. So this is a highly creative and fun, intense day. This might be a cathartic, creative breakthrough. It's a great day to put yourself out there, to give less fucks about what other people think about you, and to also wear your heart on your sleeve, and to maybe take a little bit of creative risk, maybe challenging the status quo of how much you're willing to shine, or you're giving yourself permission to shine. This waxing moon in Leo, it is like shine, baby, shine, and let the comparisons or any of the voices in our head that try to diminish our capacity to feel good just being ourselves and letting it show, let them fade away into the distance of I don't give a fuck. All right. Then on Saturday, March 28th, we have the moon still in Leo, but the moon that's waxing in Leo on Saturday, it's not making any aspects to any planets. So it's a little bit of a free wandering bird. And this day, it's not all about the moon. It's actually about Saturn and Pluto. On Saturday, we're going to have Saturn in Aries, sextile Pluto in Aquarius at 5 degrees. So to give you those exact times of this very rare transit, the last time that Saturn made a sextile to Pluto was when Saturn was in Scorpio, conjunct the North Node, and Pluto was in Capricorn, and that was in September of 2013. The next time that this is going to happen after 2026 is when Saturn is in Capricorn, conjunct the North Node, and making that sextile to Pluto in Pisces. And that's in December 2047. So 21 years from now, like that's a long time. And this transit, it's bringing an echo back to the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that was exact in 2020. Of course, nobody can forget 2020. But what I actually want you to think about is think about what was happening for you when Saturn first entered into Capricorn. And Saturn technically started that transit in December of 2017. So think back to what started in 2017 and played itself out through December of 2020, and try to think about some of the heavy lifting that you were doing in the Capricorn area of your life. Try to think about some of the hard lessons that you were learning, the maturity that you were developing, maybe the boundaries that you were setting between December 2017 and December 2020. And then when Pluto joined the party in the end of Saturn and Capricorn transit, shit got real. We had a collective reset, and that's really what a Saturn-Pluto is all about. It's a reality check that's not just for us. It's a collective reset. And right now, Saturn and Pluto are coming into their waxing sextile of the cycle with each other. If Saturn builds what's real, what's lasting, Pluto is going to add some intensity, some depth, and some powerful impact potential. So this week, this full moon, this Saturn-Pluto sextile, this is not a time to be frolicking among the flowers. You need to start taking your choices seriously. You need to understand that while this is a positive aspect, they're helping each other, they're shaking hands, and we're going to get into the details of what that means in your rising sign horoscope. But just know that whatever choices you make right now, whatever steps you start taking, whatever brave, bold forms of new accountability and responsibility you're willing to step into this full moon, these transits, and your choices, this is telling us it has the potential to have some real lasting, lifelong impact, maybe even beyond just your life. All right, so the next big thing that's happening before the full moon is on Monday, March 20th. The moon is going to be waxing in Virgo, and Venus is going to enter into Taurus, where Venus is picking up significant amounts of dignity and resourcing. Venus is going to be in Taurus from March 20th until April 23rd. And what I love about this is that Venus enters into Taurus just in time to be the host and the ruler of this Libra full moon. Venus is here and she is accessorized. She has access to all of the best choices of the meals and the foods and the fine dining experience, the luxury. Venus in Taurus is here for comfort and taste and quality experiences, quality feelings. Remember, Taurus is a fixed earth sign. So Venus and her dignity in Taurus, it's all about the body. It's all about the feeling and the sensual nature. It's less about the you and the me and more about the and the I don't even know what that means, but it's actually perfect because tonight in Living Chart Work Level 2, we did our Venus focus week and we went deep into the difference between Venus and Taurus and Venus and Libra. And I gotta tell you, there is no wrong turn on when we talk about Venus. So anyways, all that to say that this is good. This is good for love. This is good for money. This is good for Venus and relationships, whether that's social, work, romantic, it doesn't matter. Venus loves it all. And it's all about the higher standard, the higher quality. That's what a Venus in Taurus helps us achieve, helps us get that ROI that actually feels good and it's gonna last. All right, and then that leads us to the stunning all-star of the week. We get to our Libra full moon on Wednesday, April Fool's Day. Ooh, that's kind of sassy. Don't play pranks on the people you love. Just don't do it unless they're loving and they like pranks. But gosh, I just think about the long-term implications. Really, remember, we got that Saturn-Pluto sextile happening and Venus is in Taurus. So you might do something and somebody might never forgive you. All right, so that full moon, it's happening at 12 degrees of Libra and it's going to be exact at 7:11 p.m. 7:11. Ooh, I feel like 7-Eleven came up in last week's episode. It totally did. When I did the card reading, I did 3 different cards randomly with totems and whatever card you picked. And one of the cards actually literally mentioned 7-Eleven. That's just synchronicity. we love. All right, and just a reminder that this full moon in Libra, it's echoing back to what was seeded in October of 2025. Specifically, October 21st was the day that we had that Libra New Moon at 28 degrees. So now we're coming into some sort of full circle point, some sort of culmination, completion, and definitely some peak points of clarity around what it is that we started in October, how far it's come, and maybe anything or any way that we need to pivot before we continue going and growing forward in this Libra area of our lives. So as we go through the rising sign horoscopes, I encourage you, listen to the horoscope and these different transits that we're going to be weaving in. I'm going to be weaving in this Libra full moon. Of course, its relationship to the Aries area of your life and all of the Saturn, Neptune work that you've started or dreams you've been starting to build. Also, we're going to talk about Pluto and Aquarius. We're going to talk about Pluto and Capricorn just a little bit, and the Pluto-Saturn dance, the handshaking that's happening between the Aries and Aquarius places of your life. And then finally, we're going to talk about how Venus and Taurus, and where Taurus lives in your chart, has this direct ROI, some consequential potential rewards or big gains, depending on how you show up to Saturn Pluto at the time of this Libra full moon. So with that, I think we're ready. I think we're ready to dive into the horoscopes. And before I do, real quick, don't forget I make a custom Spotify playlist every single lunar cycle, and it's available, it's free, anybody can access it. And maybe you want to make your own playlist, taking some of the songs as inspiration. You can listen to it on shuffle, or you can listen to it curated from beginning to end. And I also did a little bit of a written content piece on the Pisces new moon and this lunar cycle. It talked a lot about the Pisces Aries threshold and Saturn in Aries and a few other little tidbits. So if you want to check that out, if you want to read into this lunar cycle a little deeper, you can check that out on my social media. I've got the one-on-one astrology consultations as well as my digital products. We've got Saturn in Aries, which, by the way, if you haven't gotten that product, it's only $33, and that webinar is absolutely insane. There is so much information for you. Not only is it going to help you with remediation with Saturn in Aries, Saturn's in its falls, Saturn struggles in Aries. So there's a lot of remediation in there and information and ways to think about remediation or actual physical practices you can do to help yourself out, to help that Saturn in Aries out. And there's also just a shitload of information about Saturn, tracking Saturn cycles, working with Saturn in a more constructive and conscious way. And then, of course, our 2026 year ahead forecast with the digital companion workbook. It's all linked below this episode. You can find all of that. So with that, Aries, starting with you, how comfortable are you with that, Aries? By the way, how comfortable are you with initiating, taking the lead, having authority to be the one who goes first that other people follow? Because Aries, Saturn is just getting started in this first house transit that's going to be playing out through 2028. So it's time to lean into the places where it's uncomfortable, start challenging those limitations, self-imposed or otherwise, and say yes to becoming the person that's willing to show up, acting like they know what they're doing, they trust themselves, which automatically leads to other people taking you more seriously. And just a little heads up, I decided to change things up because my current astrology is telling me I need to follow the flow of what feels freaking good to me, not what I think I should be doing or what I think is right. So I'm changing up the flow of these horoscope tarot card readings a little bit. What we're going to do is go over your horoscope today, and then I'm going to be releasing a separate video for your tarot card reading. So be on the lookout. It's going to be coming out in the next few days before that Libra full moon. If you aren't already, you can subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on. That way you'll know when the rising sign tarot card reading video is ready for you to watch, to gain all that intuitive downloaded information and guidance and support going into this Libra full moon. All right, but back to the horoscopes, because that's what we're here for, babe. Aries, this Libra full moon is happening at 12 degrees in your 7th house. This full moon is illuminating that in order to step into the Saturn, Neptune, and Aries mythology, the new life mythology of self, of yourself, your understanding of yourself, your sense of yourself, your confidence in yourself, your sense of self-direction and your confidence in that. This is a whole new mythology that you're being invited to step into, to take from an idea or an imagined possibility, a dream, Neptune into reality, to make it real. So a new living mythology with that Saturn, Neptune, and Aries in your first house of you, this Libra full moon in your seventh house, it's revealing this next phase, technically first phase of the Saturn, Neptune, and Aries, of where there's a call for a change of orientation that must happen in how you define balance and how you show up in relationships. These relationships, they are not particular. They are not specifically romantic, marriage. Seventh house is the context of us with all people. Those can be clients, that can be business, that can be romantic, it can be marriage. Sometimes it can even be family members. But Aries, this full moon is showing you that if you really want to make the new you real, that means you need to test the strength, the integrity of this new you in relationship to other people. And this rare, super rare sextile that's happening between Saturn and Pluto, if you didn't watch the overview for the collective transits before we got into your horoscope, really, you should go back. This is a super rare transit. But for you, Aries, this Saturn in your first house is forming the sextile to Pluto in your 11th house. We are shaking hands, we are linking, we are synergizing this next level of Saturn effort that you're being asked to take this personal responsibility. You're being asked to take ownership, to take the lead. And all of this is communicating in a supportive way with that Pluto in your 11th house, where there is a much larger long-term evolution playing out through 2044 in regards to your future ambitions, your hopes, your dreams, your bigger desires for what could be, if possible, and also the circles of people that you surround yourself with, your benefactors, your friends, your networks. Pluto is asking you to get real, to get serious, and to surround yourself with people who are going to empower you in that Plutonic way to take these dreams seriously, to take yourself seriously, and also to do the Pluto work of confronting the toxic friends that you're still kind of keeping around just because, Aries? We don't know. So maybe there's like a friend you let go, and that actually is feeding and supporting your ability to be like, yes, I am this new person because I no longer hold on to those toxic people in my life that aren't supporting my dreams, that aren't empowering me, that aren't a regenerative resource of connection and belonging. And remember, this is tracing back to that reset that occurred for you in your 10th house in 2020. You were coming at the end of that Saturn and Capricorn transit. We had the Saturn and Pluto conjunction at that time. And so for you, you just did this major work in your 10th house of career, of what you're known for in public, your public roles or titles, like the hats that you wear that people recognize you for, and also for your leadership roles, your ambitions for what it is, what kind of legacy you really want to leave in the world. After that complete reset, now you're turning a corner and there's going to be some momentum and some positive developments that might start taking place. But remember, whatever choices you make right now, for better or worse, Saturn Pluto is going to make sure that concrete, it sets, it lasts for the long term. So Aries, like, do you feel the pressure? Does the pressure feel exciting? Does it kind of turn you on? Or does the pressure feel a little bit like looming and dooming because you haven't been doing the work and you're kind of scared? I don't know. The Aries I know and the Aries risings I know, they're fucking killing it. They are rocking it. I guess killing it is so Saturn Pluto, but I really like saying rocking it more often if I can remember and interrupt it. All right, so either way, let me know, drop in the comments, where are you at on the spectrum of Aries showing up to the Saturn-Pluto tests and pressures? And let's not forget about the host, the ruler of this Libra full moon is Venus in Taurus in your second house. That means, Aries, when you show up in this new way, this new standard of self, in your seventh house of relationships, in the people that you call friends or the networks and communities that you're a part of, there is going to be this direct result, this ROI on matters of your self-worth, your sense of being resourced, and an overall material stability is able to grow. So Aries, what would it take to fully commit to the version of yourself you're becoming within your relationships, not just on your own, mirror to mirror, self to self? And what do you imagine, Aries, it would feel like if the life you are building, this new life, these new dreams, these new relationships, this new you, what would it feel like if that was actually supported, not just by material success, but also by people, by networks? What would it be like to feel like that's supported even more deeply? So I'll say that full sentence again because I kind of went all over the place. What do you imagine it would feel like if the life you are building actually supported you more deeply in return. And don't forget, if you want to go deeper, get cozy, and do a tarot card reading for you for this Libra full moon, you can check that out. It's going to be released in the coming days before this Libra full moon on this channel. So if you subscribe and turn your notifications on, then you're sure to not miss out on that tarot card reading for you. All right, that's it for my Aries. Thank you so much. Let's get on to Taurus and Taurus rising. All right, Taurus, the full moon in Libra is happening in your 6th house. That means it's activating the polarity, the illumination of balance or imbalance between your 6th house and your 12th house. And also, this full moon sitting bright and directly across from the Saturn Neptune that just started in Aries in your 12th house, you're getting this illumination of what steps you need to take in this first phase of your Saturn, Neptune, and Aries work in that 12th house, and what you actually need to do differently, how you need to completely orient yourself in a new way when it comes to the possibility of making a dream a reality, Saturn, Neptune, in relationship to your personal well-being, Taurus. So this is an opportunity for you this week with this Libra full moon. You're going to see what's working and what's not working. And you're also going to see where this change of orientation, it must happen if you want things to be different, if you want a personal well-being to be a completely new personal life mythology of what that's like, then you need to show up differently in both your inner world, your spiritual well-being, your needs for rest or time to fully process emotions, especially around closure, and that relationship and the needs that you're also pulled into the physical world, our work commitments, the physical body and its well-being, our time, our energy, our limited resources that we bring to the table, and who and where we give those to on a daily basis. So this Libra full moon for you, Taurus, it's basically saying that your Saturn and Aries work in that 12th house is about doing less for everybody else, doing less in the physical, mundane reality, the over-efforting, the over-giving, the overdoing. This is basically the full moon telling you that maybe you might just be naturally, consistently, sustainably more at peace, inner peace, when you stop giving your energy to things that deplete your spirit. What would it be like at the time of this Libra full moon if your everyday life and efforts actually felt supportive and regenerative in return? And don't forget, this is echoing back to that Libra new moon. So what started in October, what was seeded, what new ideas of inner peace or desires for rest, longings for things to be different when it comes to taking a break, stepping away. How is that coming full circle at the time of this full moon? And how is this full moon and Saturn, Neptune, and Aries, how are they showing you what you can do differently, what things you can stop, what you need to start? And if you really do start, if you take that step, don't forget, Taurus, right now we've got that super rare aspect happening between Saturn and Pluto at the same time of this full moon, the same time as the start of this Saturn and Aries transit. All of this personal accountability and responsibility that Saturn is asking you to take when it comes to matters of the 12th house, your subconscious patterns, your relationship to taking that step away, to processing, to grief, to closure, it's making the sextile to Pluto in your 10th house of career. So this is saying that actually right now, if you take more personal responsibility, you start living more honestly and the needs of those 12th house matters, to not be doing everything for everybody all the time, that's actually going to benefit your career in a crazy good way for the long term. Pluto in your 10th house is saying there is a whole new personal identity when it comes to work, when it comes to career, when it comes to what you're known for and your public persona. So Taurus, take this time, take this full moon to recognize where in your 6th house is this full moon showing you you're out of balance, you're out of whack. This is what you have to do actually in the everyday. You can't just, do the spiritual work on the side, but then overdo in your day-to-day work, in your day-to-day grind. You need to start delegating, babe. You need to start coming up with better systems and efficiencies. And how is this full moon showing you what you need to give or give less to, giving you the opportunity to create more of an integration, more of a new concrete foundation, a new life mythology, status quo of the work-life balance, of the spiritual and material life needs and balance. And don't forget, this is a sextile between Saturn and Pluto. So they're working together. And the more that you make these changes, you address the imbalances between your inner work, your spiritual well-being, and the day-to-day grind, your physical body, your physical well-being. The more you address that, the more this will naturally, with ease, begin to stabilize and support the bigger goals and evolutions, the things that you're reclaiming when it comes to matters of your career and your ambitions, the legacy that you're going to leave in the world. The legacy needs you to chill the fuck out, Taurus. And don't forget, we have to talk about Venus, because Venus is your chart ruler, and also Venus is in your first house right now. Oh my God, kudos to you. How are you feeling? Are you feeling cute with Venus in your first house, Taurus? Well, this Venus in the first house ruling this full moon, what I love about this for you, Taurus, it's like saying, basically, I start showing up with way higher standard, higher quality self-care in my sixth house. I stop overgiving. I stop overfunctioning. I stop overdoing. I give myself way more snack breaks, nap breaks, rest breaks, and that automatically there is a direct return on my sense of self, on my personal self-confidence. And I'm also saying, Taurus, you're going to be so much more clear about what it is that you want, who it is that you are, what actually matters, and the direction that you're going in your life. With Venus in your first house, it's like, I don't just feel pretty, I feel and know the beauty of who I am, like a depth of personal appreciation that can come from these changes. So don't sleep on that, Taurus. I know you like to sleep. I know you like your naps. Don't sleep on this Libra full moon. Don't sleep on the value, the depth, the choices, the time of these big astrology transits during this week. And also, Taurus, we're doing things a little differently today. We're not doing the tarot card reading with the horoscope. You can actually look forward to receiving that tarot card reading in the days ahead before the Libra full moon. And in order to know that it's arrived, you might want to subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on. That way you won't miss when that tarot card reading for your sign is released, and released for this Libra full moon that is so big, so important. Saturn, Pluto be like, listen to me. All right. So thank you so much. That brings us to our next sign, Gemini and Gemini rising. Just so you know, we're changing things up just a little bit this week on Cozy with the Cosmos. What we're going to do is go over your horoscope today, and then I'm going to be releasing a separate video for your tarot card reading. So be on the lookout. It's going to be coming out in the next few days before that Libra full moon. If you aren't already, you can subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on. That way you'll know when the rising sign tarot card reading video is ready for you to watch, to gain all that intuitive downloaded information and guidance and support going into this Libra full moon. All right, but back to the horoscopes, because that's what we're here for, babe. Gemini and Gemini rising. This is happening, this Libra full moon. Ooh, it's so sexy and fun. It's happening in your fifth house. So if I say all of that and you're not feeling the fun, you're not feeling the creativity, you're not feeling that fifth house connection to personal pleasure, that alone is a little bit of illumination for you, Gemini rising. What's going on? What's depleting your spirit? What's depleting your joy? Right now, this Libra full moon, it is illuminating the polarity. And what's starting with the Saturn-Neptune, this new, bringing a big dream, a new life mythology into reality. There's a phase one of building this dream, of making it a reality. And this full moon in your fifth house, it is showing you what it is that you need to do across the 11th, fifth house axis. Like, where do you need to take the potential of these big future ambitions, these hopes and wishes for the future, this connection to a greater, more impactful sense of community and networks and friends and allies, like this sense of feeling supported to believe in what is instilled and installed in just you as your big dreams, your big hopes, your big visions, and also how that needs to ground. It needs to find a right relationship with your relationship to matters of the fifth house, of moment to moment simple joy, of a sense of feeling connected, of being in partnership in a Libra way. Like, you need to be in social connections that light you up. You need to be in conversations that mirror you and reflect you, where you feel seen. And you also need to acknowledge which relationships are no longer doing that for you, or where you've been potentially like neglecting those people or those relationships that really see you, that help you feel seen, that light you up. Gemini, for you with Libra in the fifth house, it's like You could talk to anybody. You can have a conversation with anybody. You can make anything fun. But it takes a special someone to mirror back to you a way that you truly feel seen, all parts of you, all Gemini mutable parts of you, and also can hold that space with the compassion, the non-judgment, and how when you receive that from your Libra fifth house people, then you automatically feel more encouraged, more inspired to move towards, take action on those 11th house wishes, big dreams, future ambitions. And this is happening in connection to the Libra New Moon that was in October of 2025. And now you're seeing more clearly not only what's been growing, what was seeded in October of 2025 and how it's grown, how it's developed, where it's come and culminating, what it all means and where it might be leading, but what might have to change before you get there. But also, Gemini, for you, the Libra Full Moon, it's like shining a spotlight on the phase 1, level 1 work of your Saturn and Aries in the 11th house lessons. So this full moon and this Saturn-Pluto sextile, it is showing you where you're being asked and called forward. Step 1 of taking personal responsibility for your goals for the future, for who you surround yourself with, who you call friends or allies, the networks and bigger communities that you're a part of. And also, it's showing you that in order to really create a solid foundation of benefactors, a solid foundation of community support, you have to be more authentic. You have to actually tap in to the Libra full house and be more vulnerable, reveal more of yourself, put yourself into conversations, more conversations with people that you trust, people that you feel safe with, people that you feel seen with. And Gemini, the Saturn-Pluto sextile, it's playing out between your 11th house and 9th house. So Pluto just finished this insanely big evolution in your 8th house. 8th house is all about our emotional baggage. It is our standards of exchanges as well as entanglements with others and our baggage that comes from attachment issues, maybe conditioning or inherited emotional attachment patterns from our family lineage, and also our relationship to trust, whether it's trust with other people or trust with life. The 8th house initiates us in this place of deep vulnerability. We feel naked and afraid in the 8th house. But you've just done so much work here. You've just learned how to literally be on the show. You're like, put me on the show. Put me on the show. I'm going to win the whole show. I'm going to win all the money. That could have been you, Gemini. You're like, fine, I learned. Like, let me see it all, whatever. And also let it take it all. Take it away. You know, like there's this new level of personal power that you have because you're willing to stand through the storms of life, of relationship, of gain, of loss. And now this Saturn-Pluto sextile, it's ready to create this next phase of your foundation, some lasting impact. When it comes to your 11th house, these big future goals, these ambitions, your bigger community impact, like your audience and also the networks that you're a part of, your friends, with your 9th house, with your connection that's just starting. There's an evolution that's just starting, Gemini, with your connection or a greater connection to a more authentic and real, a deeper sense of personal purpose. Pluto in Aquarius is asking you to confront any beliefs, any worldviews, any long-term plans or sense of personal destiny that don't truly acknowledge the deeper part of you, the deep part of you that's like, no, I'm denying something in myself. Pluto in this place is like burn down the beliefs to find your inner truth and to find your true north. So I'd love to hear, Gemini, how are you feeling? Like, how are you feeling when I talk about Pluto in the 9th? It's feeling a little bit hot. It's feeling a little bit heated. How are you feeling with this Libra full moon? Drop in the comments below. And I want to remind you that at this Libra full moon, as you commit to both Saturn and Pluto, when you start letting your belief in your true calling and who truly supports that and is going to actually encourage and amplify the possibility of that, then you're going to directly get a big ROI. You might just see a sudden bonus check arrive with Venus and Taurus, and it's not coming in the form of a check of money. No, Gemini, this is coming in the form of closure. This is coming in the form of inner peace, potentially having some sort of clarity around your inner struggles or inner self-sabotaging subconscious patterns related to Taurus things of material security or scarcity and attachment. It's like the more you really feed your belief, your path, long-term view, big goals, people that help you, really truly mirror you, that make you feel good and excited and inspired to like believe in yourself in this path, there's a healing that happens. There's a closure that finally arrives. So Gemini, Libra Full Moon, who are you calling? And who are you putting on Do Not Disturb? Maybe you're blocking somebody, Gemini, because they have been in the way of helping you find this closure, this inner peace, and really finding some momentum and moving forward on this new trajectory. I want to hear from you. Drop in the comments below. And don't forget, if you want to go deeper, get cozy, and do a tarot card reading for you for this Libra Full Moon, you can check that out. It's going to be released in the coming days before this Libra Full Moon on this channel. So if you subscribe and turn your notifications on, then you're sure to not miss out on that tarot card reading for you. All right, Cancer and Cancer rising, it's your turn, sweetie pies. How are you doing, Cancer rising? Please tell me in the comments below. I need to know how you're doing. I feel like my Cancer risings, you've been going through it. I mean, oh, those eclipses starting in Aquarius and Leo, especially after all of the big work you've done in relationships. Babe, it's turning a corner, and it is not shy about showing you what's in the way of having those higher standards of exchanges with other people. So tell me in the comments, Cancer, where you at? How you feeling? And as we get into this Libra full moon for you, Cancer, a little update I want to share with you. What we're going to do is go over your horoscope today, and then I'm going to be releasing a separate video for your tarot card reading. So be on the lookout. It's going to be coming out in the next few days before that Libra full moon. If you aren't already, you can subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on. That way you'll know when the rising sign tarot card reading video is ready for you to watch, to gain all that intuitive downloaded information and guidance and support going into this Libra full moon. All right, but back to the horoscopes, because that's what we're here for, babe. All right, Cancer, here's the deal. This Libra full moon in your fourth house, it's not fucking around. It's showing you that all of the potential, all of these dreams, these ambitions, this idea of what you could be known for, your legacy, how people would recognize you when out in the world with Saturn, Neptune, and Aries, this new life mythology, it's going to require, and this Libra full moon is not shy about showing you, where if that's what you want and you want to make real, you have to make sure that you're also showing up in that way, in that dream, and that version of yourself at home, in relationship to your family, your home base, your internal emotional sanctuary, your emotional honesty with yourself, and also your capacity and containment and maturity around processing those deeper internal feelings and needs. So Cancer, this full moon, it's a little bit like if you want to go far, if you want to be big, then you got to go deeper. You got to get more real with yourself, and you need to come into right relationship. You need to reorient your relationship or how you operate when it comes to your fourth house matters of home, of family, of ancestry, also of those fourth house big emotional needs. Are you owning the needs? Are you being accountable for those emotional needs at home with the people you feel most comfortable with? Do you create the environment at home that is a mirror, a reflection, and in harmony with the version of you that you would love for people to remember you for? If not, Cancer, this Libra full moon, it's checking you. It's checking you, but it's also helping you because it's showing you you got to do both, and this is how you do it. And don't forget, we've got that Saturn-Pluto rare transit. It's a sextile. Hasn't happened since 2013. Won't happen again until 2047. And this is all connecting back, echoing back to some major new foundations, a major reset that you were having with that Saturn-Pluto conjunction and Saturn and Capricorn in 2020 in your seventh house of relationships. So something kind of reset. There was a tectonic shift in regards to what no longer was going to work with your committed one-on-one relationships, with your relationship to yourself, and how that was mirrored or reflected, received, and also validated by the people that you were in relationship with. Your relationships went through this huge reset, and now you're getting this sextile between Pluto in Aquarius in your 8th house and Saturn in Aries in your 10th house. So now there is this synergy. There's some natural momentum, maybe some ease and support for the more that you lean into doing and confronting, doing the deep Pluto work of your 8th house. So confronting your fucking baggage around intimacy, around trust, maybe some inherited deep patterns of attachment that are coming up. The eighth house is all about our exchanges of others. So what are the standards of those exchanges? But also Pluto wants you to confront how you might be getting in your own way because of those unconscious inheritances of good, bad, trustworthy, not trustworthy, fears of being vulnerable. I don't know, you're a Cancer, maybe. But the more you address that, Cancer, the more that you confront that within yourself and take responsibility for that, the more that that's actually going to naturally feed your career and your future career success, your future legacy, and what you're known for in the world. So whatever work that you're doing, whatever work that you're reaching for or striving for, what you're creating in the world, there's some sort of direct benefit and synergy to doing that Pluto deep, dark, eighth house work, confronting the baggage. And Cancer, I'm excited for you because we have Venus and Taurus in your 11th house ruling this full moon. And I just feel like when you finally drop all of the bullshit, all of the unhelpful defense mechanisms of your eighth house that come from a sense of needing to protect yourself from what you don't trust, really when you trust yourself enough to open up to the people that have proven themselves to be qualified, to be in exchange with, to be vulnerable with, to be intimate with, and you allow yourself to lean on, depend on, and ask for help from those trusted resources, not only do you get this natural momentum with your career, you also have this direct growth. You have an automatic great big return, an ROI of Venus and Taurus and your 11th house of networks, a larger community, of a sense of belonging. So all of this is feeding each other. And imagine, Cancer, what would it be like if you fully committed to the version of yourself you are seeking to become and step into in your professional life, in your personal life, and especially in those most intimate, vulnerable, personal connections. And don't forget, if you want to go deeper, get cozy, and do a tarot card reading for you for this Libra full moon, you can check that out. It's going to be released in the coming days before this Libra full moon on this channel. So if you subscribe and turn your notifications on, then you're sure to not miss out on that tarot card reading for you. All right, Leo, as we get into this Libra full moon for you, a little update I want to share with you. What we're going to do is go over your horoscope today, and then I'm going to be releasing a separate video for your tarot card reading. So be on the lookout. It's going to be coming out in the next few days before that Libra full moon. If you aren't already, you can subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on. That way you'll know when the rising sign tarot card reading video is ready for you to watch, to gain all that intuitive downloaded information and guidance and support going into this Libra full moon. All right, but back to the horoscopes, because that's what we're here for, babe. So this Libra full moon is happening for you in your third house. This is giving an illumination to this next step you need to take, a new orientation in your third house of communication, your daily rhythms, your local environment. Like, what do you surround yourself with? Who do you surround yourself with? What are you doing? How do you get to where you're going? And how is that related to the new lessons that are coming with that Saturn, Neptune, and Aries in your ninth house? You're getting this installation. You are getting downloaded with this idea, this faith, this belief, and this vision. Like, this is a vision quest for Leo and Leo risings of like a whole new idea of what's possible. Maybe you've always thought like the end goal was one thing, and Saturn, Neptune, and Aries in your ninth house is like, oh, you were thinking way too small that entire time, babe. And now like the vista has opened. Like, you didn't just get to the top, but now there's like nothing around. You can see 360 degrees versus like a two-dimensional looking at a camera. You're there, real life. It's possible. Okay, but in order to make that real, you need to change something in your day-to-day, or you need to show up as the version of yourself in this new personal mythology, this life mythology. What does the main character do day-to-day? When do they wake up? When do they go to bed? When do they answer the phone, or maybe put their phone on Do Not Disturb? What grocery store do they go to? How do they get there? Leo, this is like, in order to make that real, you need to start with step one. I need to be very conscientious. You need to be very mindful and accountable. Like, self-responsible for owning that you say you want that, you say you see that, you say it's possible. Do you show up day to day like you believe it? And don't forget that there is that Saturn-Pluto sextile that's happening, Leo, between Saturn in your ninth. So again, vision quest, whole new vista, whole new idea of what's possible and taking it seriously with your seventh house of relationships. So Leo, the more that you become picky with your partners, the more that you release toxic, unhealthy, old, maybe codependent relationships, things that were imbalanced, like the more you're like, this person empowers me, this person drains me. This environment supports me to challenge myself, to empower myself to show up in a bigger way. This environment challenges me to play small, which means it's, not really supporting a bigger version of myself. The more that you recognize that, Leo, and the more you're choosy and picky about that, the more that's naturally going to swipe left and right. Oh my God, yes. This is so Tinder. Leo and Leo rising. This is you need to be better at knowing your swipes on a Tinder. Swipe left, swipe right. I'm not even swiping the right direction. And I don't even know if I've ever used Tinder. Anyways, Leo, be picky, don't settle. And the more you do that, the more you're pickier, the more that you only swipe yes when you really mean it. And when it really truly honors the person you're growing into and doesn't need you to be one version of yourself or play small, the more that's naturally going to give you some momentum and some long-term traction and moving forward in this bigger trajectory, this greater calling that you're feeling. So take that seriously, take a belief in yourself and your destiny seriously, and definitely fucking take seriously who you do and do not commit to. And of course, let's not forget our host with the most. We got Venus in Taurus. For you, Leo, this is Venus in your 10th house, hosting this full moon in Libra. So this is saying that even though Venus is an aversion to this full moon, that she's dignified and resourcing, helping a girl out, helping a guy out, helping a Leo rising out, there's a direct result. There is a direct growth indicator, an ROI, in your 10th house of career, of recognition. Maybe you get a promotion because you suddenly cut that toxic person out, or you get a job offer, or you just finally get a sense of real opportunity, real grounded, practical Taurus opportunity related to your career and your work. And you thought it had nothing to do with your relationships or your mindset, your worldview and perspective. And now you're recognizing, oh, yeah, it matters. So I want to hear, how are you doing, Leo rising? Does this resonate? Who are you cutting out of your life? Who are you committing to in your life? What beliefs are you cutting out? Also, what are you finally ready to just say, I'm the one who's going to make this a reality? I'm going to take my shit I'm going to take myself seriously as the person who's not just looking to go one direction, two dimension. I'm going to go so much farther. There's a 360 world view of what it is that I'm capable of and what I want, what I feel called to do. Drop in the comments below. Please let me know, Leo. And don't forget, if you want to go deeper, get cozy, and do a tarot card reading for you for this Libra full moon, you can check that out. It's going to be released in the coming days before this Libra full moon on this channel. So if you subscribe and turn your notifications on, then you're sure to not miss out on that tarot card reading for you. Virgo rising. How you feeling, babe? I need to know. Drop in the comments below. How was that new moon in your 7th house? Was it dreamy? Was it sweet? Did you go and have a date? Or was there a romantic encounter that swept you away and gave you this new sense of inspiration? Or maybe you just had a really great heart-to-heart with somebody you love. How is life mirroring to you, Virgo, that you're worth it, you're great, you have more than enough, especially with the people that you care about? I need to hear. Drop them in the comments below. Also, drop in the comments below if like that's not your experience. I'm totally down to hear about that too. I want to hear from my Virgos and Virgo risings. As we get into this Libra full moon for you, a little update I want to share with you. What we're going to do is go over your horoscope today, and then I'm going to be releasing a separate video for your tarot card reading. So be on the lookout. It's going to be coming out in the next few days before that Libra full moon. If you aren't already, you can subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on. That way you'll know when the rising sign tarot card reading video is ready for you to watch to gain all that intuitive downloaded information and guidance and support going into this Libra full moon. All right, but back to the horoscopes because that's what we're here for, babe. And let's talk about this Libra full moon because Virgos, this Libra full moon is happening in your second house. Virgo, your second house, like your sense of self-worth, your sense of being resourced, and like you feel confident, like you have everything you need when you have good relationships, when your relationships are valuable or reflecting and mirroring back to you that you are enough. So right now, this full moon, it's showing you, it's bringing this full circle moment back from October 2025 when we had the Libra New Moon. Something started at that point, and now we come to now and you're seeing what's grown here. Like, how have you grown? What's changed? What's culminating? And what do you want to carry forward versus what do you want to like let go or change or pivot? It's also showing you, Virgos, that Saturn in your 8th house of exchanges with others, the baggage that comes up when we start to go into the vulnerability of having to trust somebody else, depend on somebody else, you know, go into contract or negotiation with somebody else. Virgo, you have some work to do here, and it's all about you really owning what you really want, what you really need, what you bring to the table, and not just what you want and what you need, but also who you want and who you need, like who feels good to partner with, who when you're in relationship or exchange with, it's not just about what they have, but it's also about the synergy and the harmony of how you work together. There's an energetic quality to your second 8th house access. There's something about the people that you come into partnership with and how they light you up. They light a fire under you. That in and of itself is a great resource or a great asset. And don't worry, you've got Saturn here until 2028 to help you iron out the details of the contracts that you're going to say yes to, the people that you're going to commit to. But right now, this Libra full moon, it's showing you that if you want to feel more material stability, if you want to feel a greater sense of genuine self-worth, like you want to feel good about who you are and your value, and you have value, then that means, Virgo, you're going to have to show up with more personal honesty, some accountability and responsibility around what contracts you sign and which contracts you say, no, thank you. So how are your boundaries? How are your potential walls or limitations around intimacy, around trust or mistrust? How is that showing up right now? What is your phase one? What is your phase one lesson of the Saturn in Aries? And Virgo, don't forget, Saturn is making that sextile to Pluto in Aquarius. Virgo, this is like so funny because it's like so not fun, but it's so real. I love the Saturn Pluto from the 8th to the 6th because basically both of these places are huge leakages, like boat leaks. They're energy leaks, you know, like 8th house is emotional, psychological energy leak where we're just giving our power and our energy away to things that don't actually test as true in reality. We are wasting our energy in the worry and the anguish and the fear, or in the wrong commitments, the wrong exchanges, the wrong people that we're partnering with. And the 6th house is the same thing where there's like a hole in the boat of the sense that we're putting all of our energy, all of our time, everything we have, we're putting that effort into things that deplete us, that take us for granted. There's an imbalance in the relationship of what we give and what we receive. And also our body takes the toll. So it's like right now, Virgo, the more you just keep prioritizing this evolution you're undergoing, it's going to be long-term with Pluto and Aquarius in your 6th house around rethinking, restructuring, reclaiming your time and energy as a superpower. It's a superpower. Don't give your time and energy to everybody. In fact, Pluto's like, you need to completely burn away, shed the part of you that learned you were supposed to martyrdom syndrome, give it to anybody who needed it. No, give it where you want to give it. What does it mean to be of service? Pluto in Aquarius is asking you to sit with that and really sit with that in a way that says, what does it mean to be of service? Not because it makes me a good person, but because it actually means something to me. So when I give, it gives something back to me. And how that is just naturally creating this greater ease and momentum and long lasting impact and potential with this new standard of exchanges in your 8th house, this new level of intimacy and vulnerability. So yeah, when you do less, give less to things or people that you don't actually care about, they just kind of needed some help. When you stop doing that, you have boundaries with that. Oh my God. It's like all of a sudden you can sign a contract with somebody who has so much bigger and better and more meaningful resources to share with you. And then let's not forget, you've got Venus that's hosting this Libra full moon. It's in your 9th house. So when you choose to show up differently in how you value yourself, your resources, and also your standards of exchanges with others, there's going to be this full-on direct result in the expansion of belief in what's possible. You might suddenly go from a direct, clear line of sight of where you're going, your future trajectory. All of a sudden, you don't just look at a picture, you don't just watch a movie or a reel on Instagram, TikTok. You actually go to the location and you see and feel and live 360 degrees what it's actually like. Ooh, that's so cool. Yeah, you're getting the opportunity to land a new belief system in a sustainable way through the living and experiencing of it versus just the idea of it or the ideal of it. But it all depends on you showing up with these boundaries, these new versions of yourself, owning your worth, owning your wants, your needs, and also owning your no's. And don't forget, if you want to go deeper, get cozy, and do a tarot card reading for you for this Libra full moon, you can check that out. It's going to be released in the coming days before this Libra full moon on this channel. So if you subscribe and turn your notifications on, then you're sure to not miss out on that tarot card reading for you. Libra rising, it is your full moon, babe. This stunning lunation. Goddess, I hope you feel as gorgeous as you are. As we get into this Libra full moon for you, a little update I want to share with you. What we're going to do is go over your horoscope today, and then I'm going to be releasing a separate video for your tarot card reading. So be on the lookout. It's going to be coming out in the next few days before that Libra full moon. If you aren't already, you can subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on. That way you'll know when the rising sign tarot card reading video is ready for you to watch to gain all that intuitive downloaded information and guidance and support going into this Libra full moon. All right, but back to the horoscopes, because that's what we're here for, babe. Libra, right now, this full moon, it's illuminating the polarity between your 1st and 7th house. It's giving you a full circle moment. What started in October, there was a wake-up call around your sense of self, around what you're known for, how you see yourself, how you present yourself, how you take care of yourself, how you prioritize yourself. And it's coming full circle right now. It's coming into a place of culmination and also clarity of, wow, that's changed a lot. This is the thing that's still working. These are the things that are still not. And there's also this balance point, this reflection point with Saturn and Aries and the new lessons that you're starting with Saturn and Aries in your 7th house. So you're also seeing, I have work to do through 2028. Of integrating this new sense of self, this new sense of giving myself permission to feel as good as I look, regardless of who's looking. I decide that I feel good. With Saturn and Aries, you have the chance to show up in a completely new way in relationships, which means you have the chance to call in a completely new standard of relationships, of partnerships. And I don't mean standard in terms of some predetermined collective standard of good or valuable. I mean authentic and honest to what truly fucking matches you, what makes you happy. And the reason I say that is because this Saturn-Pluto sextile that's happening between your 5th and 7th house, this is telling you the more you go slow, like the slowness And the selfishness and the sexuality, pleasure, creativity, prioritization-ness, whatever is happening there, the more it's going to feed your ability to actually create some long-term stability with your relationships, with the people you're in partnership with. So this moment, this Libra full moon, it's showing you, yes, babe, celebrate who you are. Celebrate how much you've grown, how far you've come, how beautiful you are. Do you feel as good as you look? And make sure that you give yourself a chance to give yourself permission to take a risk on just putting yourself first, on giving this phase 1 reorientation a new life mythology of what partnership could mean and feel like and live like for you, Libra, by prioritizing yourself, by doing the non-doing with Saturn and Aries, breaking those Libra rising rules of doing the right thing or making sure everybody else is okay. And know that Pluto is saying the more you put your pleasure first, the longer this is going to last, the deeper it's going to please you. I'm like, the bigger the orgasm, I mean, who knows, you know? All right, and don't forget, this full moon, it's ruled by your chart ruler, Venus, and Venus is dignified in Taurus, and Venus is in your 8th house of exchanges with others, entanglements with others, karmic contracts, inheritances, like all the baggage of fucking being and human with other people. If we could do it all on our own, 8th house wouldn't exist, but we can't. We can't be born without somebody, and we can't, you know, connect and love without connection with somebody else. My point is that your 8th house, your standard of exchanges, your sense of safety and trust in the midst of vulnerability and intimacy, in the midst of unknown, your sense of freedom and also a sense of security, of getting your feelings and needs met when you go into contract or exchange with somebody, a commitment with somebody, is naturally just going to grow. It's naturally just going to happen. You're actually going to receive more. Oh my God, it's so good. You're going to receive more from the people you come into a relationship with by giving less. It's so good. So there's a direct ROI in your 8th house of other people giving you more when you give less, Libra. Oh, is this resonating, Libra? I'm a Libra rising, so I'm literally coming up with this as I'm talking to you, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is so true. I'm living this out. This is so good. And also, like, I'm going through this crazy new life mythology and relationship to relationships where I literally wrote off men and relationships. I was like, I am, like, after my last breakup, I was like, I'm fucking, like, I don't fucking care. I'm done. I don't, whatever. I'm good. And the second I stepped fully into the Aries energy of that polarity, the second I was like, fuck off, I don't care. The only exchanges I've had with men and with women, but mostly with men, is above and beyond. The highest standard, ways I've never experienced being treated, ways that make me feel as good as I look. It's so funny. It's so funny. So if you need any kind of encouragement or examples, I can tell you 1000% it's working. I'm going to continue it. I'm going to continue to just do what feels good and be true to myself and be honest and authentic. And I encourage you to do the same. So drop a comment below if you're a Libra or a Libra rising. How is this resonating? Where are you? How are your people, your partnerships? I need to know. And don't forget, if you want to go deeper, get cozy, and do a tarot card reading for you for this Libra full moon, you can check that out. It's going to be released in the coming days before this Libra full moon on this channel. So if you subscribe and turn your notifications on, then you're sure to not miss out on that tarot card reading for you. Scorpio rising. Ooh, it's so tender. It's so real. You got this Libra full moon in your freaking 12th house, babe. It is one of the most sensitive parts of the chart. And I'm curious, how are you doing, Scorpio? How are you feeling? How are you tending to the parts of you that need some time and space away from everybody and every fucking thing else? How's rest? How's grief? How's just you alone? How are you doing? Drop that comment below. I'd love to hear from my Scorpios. As we get into this Libra full moon for you, a little update I want to share with you. What we're going to do is go over your horoscope today, and then I'm going to be releasing a separate video for your tarot card reading. So be on the lookout. It's going to be coming out in the next few days before that Libra full moon. If you aren't already, you can subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on. That way you'll know when the rising sign tarot card reading video is ready for you to watch, to gain all that intuitive downloaded information and guidance and support going into this Libra full moon. All right, but back to the horoscopes, because that's what we're here for, babe. And this is a beautiful illumination. It's so stunning and dignified. And also for you, Scorpios, being dignified with a 12th house full moon isn't necessarily fun. It's not necessarily easy. This is like having the proper judgment, like a stunning clarity, a stunning sense of perception, cohesion, a full circle moment of understanding. That's also really hard. Like, it brings up a lot of those 12th house feelings of grief, of recognizing where maybe you've been getting in your own way, maybe some shit from your past, some self-sabotaging behaviors, some subconscious patterns have been playing themselves out, and there's this wake-up call that's really helpful for you, Scorpio. It might not be comfortable. So pay attention. Something that actually started, it's seeded back in October of 2025. It's coming full circle now at the time of this Libra full moon. In addition to what it's illuminating with what started in October and how it's grown and developed and how you're recognizing, oh, this needs to continue and we need to cut the dead ends off so that new growth can happen faster with your internal work mostly, or like blind spots, things that you didn't want to look at before. Now you're seeing them. It's also at this time showing you this phase 1 thing that you need to do when it comes to Saturn in your 6th house. So if you want life to feel balanced between your inner life, your inner world, your inner needs, your spiritual well-being, and your physical well-being, your day-to-day work and energy and effort, if your body is keeping the score and Saturn now is in your 6th house and it's like, oh, the body has a lot of score to talk about. Well, it's also helping you take your body more seriously, take yourself more seriously. Saturn is like, you have one body. You have one body. We might have a lot of medicine, a lot of options available for how we can fix things, cure things. But at the end of the day, we're all going to age. We're all going to reach mortality and death. And Saturn is like, you deserve to feel as good as you can until you get there, whenever there is. So there's this phase 1 of taking yourself seriously, taking personal accountability and responsibility with Saturn in your 6th house. If your body is speaking, it's forcing you to acknowledge any imbalance between your day-to-day effort and energy and time investments, and also your 12th house need to just step away, to grieve and to rest. And don't forget that Saturn and Pluto, they're making that sextile that is super supportive. It's tracing back to something that started in 2020. I mean, you were getting this major reset, the foundation, the core foundation, the basement floor below the basement, as my colleague Alexandra Blair of 9 Lives Astrology talks about, of that 4th house. So right now with this sextile from Saturn and Pluto, there is this synergy. There is this natural ease and support for long-lasting growth, a healing evolution, literally for you, Scorpio, because we're talking about your 4th house of foundations, of home, of family. With Pluto there, what you do right now, it's like you're choosing the proper rock or granite, or I actually have never poured cement, but it's like the material. Like, you're choosing the right material for what you're going to pour yourself into. Oh, that's so good. Yes. And how does that actually naturally feed these boundaries that you have with your daily efforts, your energy investments? You're like, no, I'm not doing that for you anymore. No, that's not my job. No, I actually need to do this for myself. Somebody else can do that. I'm not going to overwork, overgive. And that's setting myself up to know I can actually rest with a little bit more inner peace. I actually have space to be a little bit more with myself, a sense of home within myself. And also that emotional honesty is becoming more empowered. So Pluto's making your internal landscape undeniable. The places that you've been like, oh, there's wildfires. Oh, it's fine. You know that meme with the dog and everything's burning? It's like, everything's fine. Everything's burning, but everything's fine. If you've been doing that, Pluto and Aquarius already started showing you that you can't be a meme and get through this Pluto transit. You've got to acknowledge your depth. You have to acknowledge your feelings, full spectrum, your feelings and your needs. And so just know this is, again, that really rare transit. There's momentum that's going to come, and that momentum is going to have a lasting impact for better or worse based off the choices or the boundaries that you set right now at this Libra full moon. And then Scorpio, let's not forget to talk about Venus, because Venus is ruling the zonation and Venus is in your 7th house. She's dignified. She's in Taurus. And babe, basically what's happening right now is you're going to get this direct ROI, this growth, this higher quality, Taurian quality, and your 7th house of partners the moment that you start actually taking your energy and efforts more seriously. When you start giving less to the things that drain you or don't really matter to you, or because they felt like obligations, they were driven from guilt, I don't know, or just duty, the more that you're actually going to be calling in higher standards of people to love and be seen and validated. And there's something, Scorpio, too, about you're being recognized more, or you're being invited to let yourself be recognized and to resonate or attract, magnify people, new people into your life that are going to see you for your Scorpio power. They're going to see and appreciate you in a whole new way. To be appreciated, Scorpio, what does it feel like to be truly appreciated? Truly seen and appreciated for your depth. And how is a simple no thank you to putting in work where you've been putting in too much work potentially going to lead to receiving that from the universe, from a person, from a relationship. All right, so that is your horoscope for this Libra full moon. I'd love to hear how you're doing. Please comment below. Let me know how you're doing. And don't forget, if you want to go deeper, get cozy, and do a tarot card reading for you for this Libra full moon, you can check that out. It's going to be released in the coming days before this Libra full moon on this channel. So if you subscribe and turn your notifications on, then you're sure to not miss out on that tarot card reading for you. All right, Sagittarius, this stunning Libra full moon, it's culminating in your 11th house. As we get into this Libra full moon for you, a little update I want to share with you. What we're going to do is go over your horoscope today, and then I'm going to be releasing a separate video for your tarot card reading. So be on the lookout. It's going to be coming out in the next few days before that Libra full moon. If you aren't already, you can subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on. That way you'll know when the rising sign tarot card reading video is ready for you to watch, to gain all that intuitive downloaded information and guidance and support going into this Libra full moon. All right, but back to the horoscopes, because that's what we're here for, babe. So, babe, you're getting this bright light of reflection showing you what it is that needs to come into greater balance. What is it that Saturn and Neptune in your 5th house in Aries, this is all about following your passion, following your creative joy, your creative life, bringing something to life. You're really called in the 5th house to take something from within yourself or something in and bringing into actual real life. Children are a product of that. Books are a part of that. Podcasts are a product of that. What we're talking about here is that Saturn and Neptune are saying that you are being installed and instilled with this whole new life mythology surrounding your relationship to being the caretaker of something you care about, to being the person that brings something into life just because of the joy of bringing it into life. And what's happening right now is this Libra full moon is showing you that if you're going to start actually making that a reality, not just this dream, illusion, could be delusion, you can make this dream into reality by actually taking yourself more seriously and showing up in these new ways or a new sense of self and orientation in matters of your 11th house, the people you surround yourself with. Are they cultivating those kinds of lives? Are they bringing things to life? Are they nurturing and cultivating their creative life? Also, are they amplifying and encouraging your aspirations? Do you feel more hopeful when you're around them? When you leave them, do you feel like you're filled with more sense of worry, or you're filled with a more sense of inspiration and possibility? This Libra Full Moon is saying that if you truly want to take your 5th house more seriously, your idea of bringing something you care about into reality, making it real, bringing something to life, just for the sake of joy and passion and a sense of self-satisfaction, or an extension of yourself, then you've got to take the people you surround yourself with more seriously. And you've also got to take more seriously what you're naming and claiming as what's possible for your future. And don't forget, there is this really rare aspect that has big impact, lasting, intense value. For better or worse, there's going to be a consequential impact from the relationship of the decisions, the choices, the boundaries that you're creating, cultivating with Saturn in your 5th and Pluto in your 3rd. So do you live in a neighborhood that supports you? Are you stuck or holding on, trying to control an environment? It's funny because there's so much around relationships actually for you, Sagittarius, and so much around community, both local and large. So you're being asked, Sagittarius, if you want this really big dream in your 5th house, honestly, you want a really big orgasm. You can't get an orgasm in the back of a car on the side of the road where the temperature's off and there's nothing cushioning it. That's your 3rd house Pluto. It's like, babe, you gotta create the right environment. You gotta set the set the right space. And then also you need to put yourself into spaces and into places of groups of people that actually all want the same thing as well. So you need to be around people that also want that same thing, are also showing it's possible. This is a moment for you, Sagittarius. Take what it is that you care about, what it is that lights you up, what it is that brings you joy more seriously, and also recommit, double down on your standard of where you put yourself and who you put yourself around in order to encourage that and making that a reality. And don't worry, because we're going to talk a little bit about this Venus, because Venus is hosting this full moon and Venus is in your 6th house. It's dignified. So there's this random, unexpected, direct ROI in your 6th house, your Taurus 6th house, of work, daily grind, maybe physical well-being or your relationship to your body. Maybe you've been going through something with your body, like an ailment, maybe something's been hurting, or you've been in this chronic dis-ease in the body. Maybe you've been feeling really burnt out. Maybe there's felt like this extreme imbalance of what you give your energy to versus how it depletes you and feeds you. And I feel like if you show up in this new way, if you make these tough choices, make these tough calls, tough boundaries, maybe go outside of your comfort zone and hang out with people that you're not necessarily comfortable with because you don't know them, but you need to join a meetup that is directed towards the same intention of what you want to create and do, your body might suddenly heal itself. You might just suddenly feel better. You might just feel like life isn't as hard. You're not pushing a boulder up the mountain as much in a way that actually restores so much energy and vitality. Don't take for granted an ROI in the 6th house. An ROI in the 6th house is like efficiency, productivity. It's less energy expenditure for the same quality output. Whatever. I am doing horoscopes. My brain is all over the place. Mercury is stationed right now in Pisces, like while I'm recording this. So Forgive me, Sagittarius. You hopefully understand. All right, Sag, that is your horoscope for this Libra full moon. And don't forget, if you want to go deeper, get cozy, and do a tarot card reading for you for this Libra full moon, you can check that out. It's going to be released in the coming days before this Libra full moon on this channel. So if you subscribe and turn your notifications on, then you're sure to not miss out on that tarot card reading for you. All right. Thank you so much, Sagittarius. That is your horoscope. Let's move on. We are on to Capricorn and Capricorn rising. All right, Capricorn rising. As we get into this Libra full moon for you, a little update I want to share with you. What we're going to do is go over your horoscope today, and then I'm going to be releasing a separate video for your tarot card reading. So be on the lookout. It's going to be coming out in the next few days before that Libra full moon. If you aren't already, you can subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on. That way you'll know when the rising sign tarot card reading video is ready for you to watch, to gain all that intuitive downloaded information and guidance and support going into this Libra full moon. All right, but back to the horoscopes, because that's what we're here for, babe. This is your full moon horoscope for this Libra full moon in your 10th house. Stunning. You are finally feeling, hopefully, this sigh of relief. Like, I imagine the Capricorn goat that never looked down, never took a snack break, never took a nap break, didn't even have time to act something that they didn't need to carry with them. They just kept going because they were so focused on the goal. And you got there, you've landed, there's a culmination and a celebration point. Take a moment, take a pause, Cap, and recognize how far you've come. Recognize the love of your labors, the success. Validate, confirm, celebrate. Give yourself a freaking pat on the back, or maybe you get a promotion. Are my Cap risings getting a promotion at this time? Are you having some advancement in career or some sort of recognition from the public or in your workplace? I feel like right now, this full moon, on one hand, it's giving you this moment of yes, fuck yes, look at how far I've come, look at how good I'm doing. And it's also, okay, and how's my work-life balance? Because this Libra full moon, it's illuminating this polarity around these new lessons in Aries with Saturn, Neptune. Saturn's going to be here in Aries through 2028. And here's the thing. You are being downloaded. The Saturn-Neptune download for you, this new life mythology, Capricorn, is around this new dream of what would it be like to actually have a sense of personal autonomy. What would it be like to actually have a sense of self? Very alive in my home. What would it be like to put myself first, to put my feelings first, to put a self-orientation when it comes to matters of the house, with that Aries 4th house and matters of family? What is the new dream that's being downloaded in you, Capricorn, in matters of family, home, foundation, your relationship to a sense of emotional security and sanctuary, your relationship to your deeper inner space and sphere and processing? There's this new idea of what could be possible, this new life mythology, but it's requiring you that it is possible, by the way, with Saturn Neptune. It is possible. But phase 1 of Saturn's work, of you showing up differently and putting in the work and effort, is developing an integration of that desire, that version of yourself that receives that lives that enjoys that 4th house, or at least has a certain sense of contentment and peace by showing up differently when it comes to matters of how the public sees you. So if you really want something so personal and deep and satisfying and self-oriented, then you need to do that in the way you show up in your work. You need to be way more vulnerable and self-oriented in your decisions around what you chase after, what you build, what you're doing. It needs to come way more into self-orientation. It needs to be just as much about you as it is about the promotion, as it is about being recognized, as it is about being visible and seen and appreciated by and included by other people. So Capricorn, this full moon, it's showing you what's phase one. What is phase one of your Saturn work? How you're going to step in, how you reorient yourself in your career in a way that reflects, mirrors, and works with this big dream, this new life mythology related to your fourth house of genuine security, stability, and emotional honesty. You're living from a place of emotional honesty. And then we have to talk about that Saturn Pluto sextile that's happening for you, Capricorn. This is happening between your fourth house and Pluto in your second house. So there's this handshaking, there's this synergy, this help and support that's bringing, if you set yourself up, if you take your deeper internal emotional landscape, if you do a really good landscaping job, like you're really tending to that and you're really like, oh, I need water here, I need sunshine here, internal emotional world, your feelings and needs for safety and security internally, if you take that more seriously, you commit to the next level of that and self-orienting around how you create that, whether that's with yourself or with other people, the more that's naturally going to just generate more income. You're just going to be a natural, it's going to be easier to generate like a untapped well of power when it comes to generating security, material stability. That's so cool. It's a new level of self-worth when you get to self-orient in a way that is validated and the place that you call home. And also that's fully feeding your career and your trajectory. This is really cool. It's also directly feeding Venus and Taurus. So Venus is ruling this full moon, Capricorn, and Venus is dignified. She's in Taurus. She's in your fifth house. So there's also this side note, but a side quest for this full moon horoscope. But the side quest is the best part because it's like, oh, and I love that I went with side quests. I was not planning on that, but this is so great because I don't know if you've ever been to a concert with a group of people or by yourself, but it's when you're with a group and all of a sudden you just suddenly change routes when you weren't thinking about it or planning it, and you just go on a side quest and you're kind of lost to the group forever, but you're totally immersed in an experience with yourself and whatever you're experiencing. That is this Libra full moon. Go on your fucking side quest because when you do, you self-orient, you prioritize your needs, you create that stability, all the shit that I already said, then you automatically are going to get this direct result of growing your ROI and your fifth house, your Taurus fifth house of peace and pleasure, good orgasms, also creative life, fulfillment through the process of creating something, of following your passion, of feeling the flow of inspiration and joy and fun. I mean, the comfort of knowing that you have given your effort and your time in the very earthy way to the quality relationship with your own creativity, your own passion is so deeply personally satisfying for you. I mean, that's how it should be as a Capricorn rising, but I don't know if it is, but I mean, it could be starting now. So what are you doing, Capricorn? What is coming up for you at the time of this full moon? How is it coming full circle from this October 2025? How did it secretly start back then? And also, how are you feeling about this Saturn-Pluto sextile? And does it feel like pressure? Do you feel scared about the fact that we're cementing, like you're pouring cement on something? Or do you feel excited? You're like, fuck yeah, pour the fucking cement right here. I'm gonna put my initials in the cement right here. I didn't know from my caps. Drop in the comments below and tell me where you're at, where you're feeling in the midst of the midpoint of this Pisces new moon and Pisces lunar cycle. And don't forget, if you want to go deeper, get cozy, and do a tarot card reading for you for this Libra full moon, you can check that out. It's going to be released in the coming days before this Libra full moon on this channel. So if you subscribe and turn your notifications on, then you're sure to not miss out on that tarot card reading for you. Okay, well, thank you so much, Capricorn. We're ready for our next sign, Aquarius and Aquarius rising. All right, Aquarius, how are we feeling at this Libra full moon? As we get into this Libra full moon for you, a little update I want to share with you. What we're going to do is go over your horoscope today, and then I'm going to be releasing a separate video for your tarot card reading. So be on the lookout. It's going to be coming out in the next few days before that Libra full moon. If you aren't already, you can subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on. That way you'll know when the rising sign tarot card reading video is ready for you to watch to gain all that intuitive downloaded information and guidance and support going into this Libra full moon. All right, but back to the horoscopes, because that's what we're here for, babe. This Libra full moon, it's happening in your 9th house, and babe, it started back in October of 2025. There was something that was seeded where you were just like, damn, I am ready to start feeling better, thinking better, believing better. I want to expand the scope, landscape of my idea of what's possible for myself and my life trajectory. So what was seeded at that time? Was there a breaking point in realizing you wanted to go bigger? You wanted to ask for more? You wanted to go farther? And how is that reaching this culmination point at the time of the Libra full moon right now? Also, let's take into consideration that this Libra full moon, it's not only culminating, celebrating, illuminating the 9th house of long-term plans, of our worldviews, our beliefs that hug and really hold the interpretations of everyday experiences. But also, we are getting this polarity. We are getting this contrast with the new lessons that are happening with Saturn and Aries. And it's not just Saturn, because it's Saturn Neptune. We are getting this whole new download. And Aquarius, for you, you're getting the download of this new life mythology of what it would be like if every day felt like being the person, living the reality, going the routes, interacting with the people, being in immediate relationship, local community, wearing the outfit, having the conversations, living in the place, in the environment, and in the relationships that totally fucking supported and mirrored and reflected and validated you as this person who's obviously going to execute those long-term plans. And right now you're being shown Saturn is just starting this transit in your 3rd house. It's going to last through 2028. And this full moon is sitting across from that. And it's showing if you want this new life mythology of your day-to-day life, your schedule, your peer relationships, your local community, then you need to start showing up in these new ways, having this new orientation of yourself in your sense of belief and also your commitment to what you say is the final destination. So what is the actual journey? And how are you naming that and claiming that? Maybe even voicing it. The 9th and 3rd house, there's so much about speaking and communicating and really letting our words land in a way. Our words create reality. So for you, Aquarius, there's something about naming and owning this reality. No, that is where I'm going. That is ultimately, I will land on that island of success and destiny and personal calling. There's no more second guessing that. And the way I prove that is not only through naming that and reinforcing that in my own mindset, but also through traveling to places or putting myself in conversation around people that allow me to own that and embody that in a whole new way. So you've also got the sextile happening, Saturn in your 3rd with Pluto in your 1st. Love this for you because Aquarius, this is all about basically say less, show more. This sextile is basically saying you went through a total reset in doing your inner work, doing a lot of inner work, digging deep in your self-conscious patterns, your self-sabotaging behaviors, maybe feeling just stuck in the space in between, having to find a lot of closure or just feeling like you're floating, waiting for this new 1st house life to start, this new clear life direction. But you're not there anymore. You're finally at a place where you're like, I went from leaving something, finding closure, and I am finally at the place where I'm going to take that and I'm ready to externalize all of that internal effort into material reality. And now I'm getting empowered to show that through how I talk, how I communicate, how I go about my day. I'm showing up as a whole new version of myself. The more you're willing to step into your power, take up space, take up the space of Pluto in your first house, which says you're going to trigger some people. Some people you're going to trigger for positive impact. Some people you're going to trigger for insecurities. It doesn't matter. Your job is not to navigate yourself or your interactions based off of what you're triggering other people. You show up, you let whatever happens happen, and you trust you're leaving the right impact. And a lot of times when you're in your greatest power, maybe you're learning this right now, is you say less, Aquarius. You say less with Saturn in the third. You do less, you commit to less. And then don't forget, we've got one more big thing to talk about, which is Venus, the ruler of this moon, is in your fourth house, in Taurus, dignified, in domicile. So all this work you're doing around showing up different, letting yourself be seen and received, however that is, like whatever impact that is, your power comes from just being authentic, being honest, owning your authority, saying less, listening more. And that's a direct growth, ROI impact on your sense of internal emotional security. The fourth house is our home, our family, our foundation. So you feel more internally secure. You feel more emotionally satisfied. And it might just feel like, oh, I'm at peace with myself. Even if things are hard, I just feel like there's more spaciousness to hold that. I have a higher quality of internal landscape to host whatever comes up in the midst of maybe triggering somebody or being triggered by somebody and not reacting, withholding that third house need to say or defend or do something different. It's like, say less, don't take the bait. If you need to say something, you can speak up. You'll know what it is, Aquarius. So let me know, drop in the comments. What is it for you? What's coming up for you? What are you celebrating? What are you pivoting and letting go? Where are you saying less versus where are you saying more? I need to know. Please let me know. Drop in the comments below. And don't forget, if you want to go deeper, get cozy, and do a tarot card reading for you for this Libra full moon, you can check that out. It's going to be released in the coming days before this Libra full moon on this channel. So if you subscribe and turn your notifications on, then you're sure to not miss out on that tarot card reading for you. Pisces, this is your horoscope for the Libra full moon. What we're going to do is go over your horoscope today, and then I'm going to be releasing a separate video for your tarot card reading. So be on the lookout. It's going to be coming out in the next few days before that Libra full moon. If you aren't already, you can subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on. That way you'll know when the rising sign tarot card reading video is ready for you to watch to gain all that intuitive downloaded information and guidance and support going into this Libra full moon. All right, but back to the horoscopes because that's what we're here for, babe. All right, Pisces. So this full moon in Libra, it's happening in the tender, the vulnerable, the messy 8th house. Pisces, you're getting a full moon in your 8th house that's connected to something that was seeded or started back in October of 2025. So this has to do with our relationship to intimacy, our vulnerability, and relationship to trust or mistrust with others. It also has to do with our baggage that comes from attachments, especially emotional attachments. The 8th house has to do with our exchanges with others, the contracts we go into, the negotiations of what I give and what I receive. And there's just so much potential baggage. And I love the word baggage for the 8th house. This is actually just coming as I say this because I went to Europe in 2023, I think it was. And we had to pack enough to get us through 3 weeks. But we couldn't bring too much that we couldn't carry it everywhere we went with us. Especially with all the stairs, no cabs, and incredible heat. It was August. August time in Italy is just fucking insane. So anyways, that feels 8th house because it's like, okay, you do need to bring some stuff. And you need to make sure you have everything you need. And if you're going with another person, what can they bring so you don't have to bring it? What can you share? What can they grab and pack versus what you can pack? And also knowing we're splitting the load. We're sharing the load, but we're bringing something different. But if you put too much shit because you're uncomfortable with going to this new place you've never been in the bag, just as a comfort thing, as a coping thing. You're like, I might need that. I might need that. I might need that. As a protection and coping, you actually just make your bag heavier and you make your journey harder. So Pisces, this full moon is showing you that right now, Saturn and Aries just started this big new transit, Saturn Neptune actually, in your second house. So you're getting this whole new download around this dream, this new life mythology of a relationship to feeling resourced, a relationship to feeling how I could receive or be gratified or paid, what it would be like to feel like I'm going to have my needs met if I actually follow my joy, if I actually do the thing I'm passionate about, if I follow this inspiration. Like, it could be possible that I don't have to split myself into an either or mindset of I will have material security or I will have my passion. Whatever the dream is of Neptune, Saturn is saying, you can have that. You can, actually, it's possible. And you're like, oh, wait, shit, that's possible? And then Saturn's like, yes, but you actually have to live out a different orientation of yourself related to second, eighth house matters. You can't show up the same. You gotta change, you gotta grow. And this Libra full moon is like, and let me show you where you settle. Let me show you where you settle for the bare minimum, because it gratifies a sense of validation on some level that's just like, oh, that's enough, I don't need any more. But it's not truly gratifying your sense of self or your dream or desire. And also it's illuminating where there's some old baggage, maybe old contracts, maybe old karmic entanglements, maybe old relationship dynamics where you couldn't trust, where it wasn't safe, where it wasn't fair, it wasn't equal. And that exchange, it forced you to either become unhealthy independent with Aries in that second house. You were so self-reliant because you couldn't trust anybody, or it was you prioritized the needs of the harmony of the relationship, the relationship created in the environment, and that was the way that you generated a sense of self-worth or a sense of safety and security in your second house. But right now, you can't do that. You can't show up in these exchanges in a way that doesn't acknowledge this new version of yourself, this new self-value, this new self-trust, this new self-respect. There might be something that looks pretty on the surface as an offer, and Pisces, you might be being asked to say, no, that's not it. That's not what I want. I love that you want me and what I have, but that's actually not what I want. Let's not forget, we've got the Saturn sextile Pluto. So there's this help, there's this support, there's this consequential impact that has lasting impact between Saturn and Pluto in matters of these second house themes, resources, livelihood, self-worth, a sense of material security and stability. And it's synergizing. It's going to feel easier the more that you keep doing that ugly Pluto work of looking at your shadows, integrating your shadows, getting uncomfortably rested, getting uncomfortably retreated from the busyness of life. Pisces, right now, your super Pluto power comes from stepping away. It comes from the non-doing. It comes from processing behind the scenes, taking that step into a space of retreat, receive, allow, feel, bring closure. Yeah, the healing work that you invest in right now, away from the everyday, is actually what's going to build your bank account long term. That's what this Saturn-Pluto sextile is saying. And don't forget, this Saturn-Pluto sextile, it hasn't happened since 2013. It won't happen until 2047. So this is very rare and it has a long-lasting impact. So what is it that you're healing and feeling through, letting go, finding closure? Are you resisting closure, or are you resisting the spaces in between? I feel like the 12th and the 8th are so much of these spaces in between The 12th being the space between the end of one chapter book, and the 8th being the space between the intro to the climax kind of thing. It's like you gotta kind of ride out the lull, you know? So let me know, Pisces, please. If you're a Pisces, drop in the comment, how are you feeling at the time of the full moon? And then don't forget that we're gonna have Venus hosting this Libra full moon in your 8th house, and Venus is going to be in your 3rd house, which means you're going to have this direct result, these opportunities to grow in your communication, your local communities, local connections. There's going to be this natural ROI and quality upgrading that happens in your everyday environment, who you surround yourself with, what you're surrounded by, even your route to work. It might just be like suddenly there's a lot to look at that makes you feel good on your way there. That's definitely going to show up. It's going to be a result as you show up differently in these 8th house matters, in these standards of exchange. So a different everyday reality exists just outside your capacity to bring and carry less baggage with you, and also partner and travel with the right people who acknowledge your value and pack the things that are shared needs, shared feelings, shared accountability and responsibility. All right, Pisces, that's your horoscope for this Libra full moon. Go ahead, drop a comment below and tell me how you're feeling. And don't forget, if you want to go deeper, get cozy, and do a tarot card reading for you for this Libra full moon, you can check that out. It's going to be released in the coming days before this Libra full moon on this channel. So if you subscribe and turn your notifications on, then you're sure to not miss out on that tarot card reading for you. All right, everybody, that is your episode for this Libra full moon rising sign horoscopes. I hope that you enjoyed them. I hope that you feel as good as you look in your Libra full moon house. And I hope you also get a chance to check out the tarot card reading that's going to be coming out in individual rising sign videos. It's going to be coming out in a few days after this video drops. So if you aren't already, make sure you're subscribed, turn your notifications on. If you haven't already, God forbid, girl has been recording for a hot minute. Please like my video if you want to. If you really enjoyed it, you can hype a girl up. I love hyping people up. I didn't know what hype was, and the first time I saw it and I was watching a tarot card reader, I literally hit hype like 3 times. I felt like I was in an arcade bar or a game room. It was so fun. And then it was like, you've used all these points. I'm like, wait, where did I get them? And how do I use them? I have Mars and Aries. Can you tell? Anyways, so thank you guys. I love you guys so much, and I appreciate everybody for being here and appreciate everybody supporting this channel, engaging in the comments. I have been so fucking all over the place with this move, with so much change and transition. I feel like I've become a professional couch surfer, and I have Sun in Capricorn with Saturn in the 4th house. This is not my comfort zone. This is not where I'm meant to be, but I've lived through it and I'm finally in my new place. So I hope to be so much more engaged with you guys and just available to participate in the conversations. But just know that even if I haven't responded to your comment yet, I am truly grateful to having you here. And I will see everybody here hopefully next week again when we get into the last week, the 3rd quarter lunar phase of this beautiful turning of the tide Pisces lunar cycle. Thank you, everybody. Hopefully, we'll see you in the tarot card reading for your rising sign, maybe your sun, moon, rising, or else I will definitely positively see you back here next Thursday for our next episode of Cozy with the Cosmos. Bye, guys.